Hi guys, welcome back to In Case of Econ Struggles. Today I'm going to keep talking about cost-benefit analysis. In the last video on cost-benefit analysis, I talked about net present value. Today I'm going to talk about the LAC method, or the levelized annual cost method. This is going to follow the video that I just did on net present value. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check that out. Pop up in the top right hand corner right about now. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So at the end of that video on net present value, we had this sort of timeline diagram where we had our costs and our benefits each year from period 1 to 20, and we were basically using net present value to figure out if the benefits outweigh the costs. And so what we ended up doing is we ended up deriving this formula for a finite geometric sum. And so that's what we use to basically take this 110 every year and calculate the net present value of those benefits in years 1 through 20. We compared it to the present value of that 150 cost in period 1. And we found that overall our benefits outweigh the costs, and so we should do that project, and that's how net present value worked. Now, one thing we can do instead is we can say, well, instead of taking all these 110s, all these benefits in every year, and bringing them to period 0, and bringing this 150 to period 0, what we can do instead is we can take this 150 that we pay in period 1, and we can distribute it to every year, okay? And so the reason why this is a little tricky is because we don't want to split this 150 up into 19 and then evenly split it between all of these different periods, because that's not really what's happening. Because what's going to happen is if we say split this into 10 in each period, well, the $10 that we put into period 2 is different than the $10 we put into period 5, because period 5 is 3 periods more in the future than period 2, and so their future values are not comparable. Okay, so what we need to figure out is, well, on average, if I took this 150 and I divided it up between years 2 through 20, on average, how much, when I account for the future value of money, how much on average would I be putting into each year? Then I can sort of figure out, well, on average in each year, are my benefits positive or negative? And so what we're going to do is we're just going to say, well, when we did net present value, we knew that the present value was equal to the future value times this fun little equation right here. Well, if I have present value and future value, I can just resolve this equation for future value. Then we get future value is equal to present value, or that $150 cost, times basically the inverse of that fraction from above, right? I'm just going to flip this guy right here. We call this sometimes the LCF, or the levelized cost factor. It's not super important that you know what that is. It's more important that you know all we're doing is taking the present value formula and we're resolving it for future value instead of present value. So now if we go back into this problem, we're going to take that 150, we're going to plug in the interest rate of 3%. We're going to get 10.08. I'm going to call that just about 10. And so our annual benefit, we just take that 110, we subtract our average annual cost, which is about 10. We get 100, and we're greater than 0. Okay, so of course, it makes sense that what's going to happen is we're going to get the same qualitative answer that we did with present value, because in present value, we saw that the benefits outweighed the costs. So it shouldn't matter if you're going from future value to present value, or present value to future value. You should get the same qualitative answer in terms of benefits versus costs. So just sort of to bring this point home, again, what we're doing is suppose that we have two different currencies. We have dollars and we have euros. Okay, and so the dollars are going to represent the present value and euros are going to represent future value. So when we took future value to present value, well, we called that net present value. And when we took present value to future value, which is what we just did, we called that the LAC method. And so all we're saying is, well, suppose that you have, I don't know, suppose this is $2, and suppose this was like 2 euros. Okay, well, if 2 euros is bigger than $2, so if I know it goes like this, well, if I convert 2 euros to $2, so I go this way, then what I should get is something more than $2. So maybe this is like $2.30, depending on what the exchange rate is. And of course, if I go this way from dollars to euros, then I should get something less than 2 euros. So maybe this is like, I don't know, to euro 50. But no matter which currency we pick to convert to, we're always going to get that this side is bigger than this side. And so when we're doing net present value, or LAC, okay, well, if the benefits outweigh the costs, no matter which way we do it, the benefits should outweigh the costs. And so all I'm saying is that no matter which way you do, net present value or LAC, you should get the same qualitative answer on whether the benefits outweigh the costs or not. So hopefully this clears things up. If you still got questions or things you're confused about, go ahead and throw that in the comments below. But again, if these videos in general are helping you out, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for another case of Econ Struggles.